We fact check, back check, do all that. These are all real stories. And the corporate stories, they are now to scale. They're huge. And it's heartwarming to me.
Okay, lovely. The other day, Ramesh, just slightly going off tangent, just permit me, please.
Always said that I would.
That's a nice term, far better than right sizing or downsizing.
No, wound down, I used that word because it was not for sale in any case. And it was not that there were no offers, okay? But I said that I will not sell my agency. I will not announce the fact that I am winding it down until the last employee has a job. Nothing I've done is actually well thought. Okay. I'd always said that I would like to do something else when I turn 50. And everybody used to pull my leg and say this was third drink talk. If you get that.
Where is this village, that IVD that you talked about?
IVD? 44 villages, Palghar.
Oh, okay, Palghar, okay. What would you want to kind of retain and what would you want to sensitively discard?
Retention part is easier to answer. I'd like to retain my whole team.
Anybody who says we are in the business of only pure play brand building without any attribution is probably not being true. So what we retain, the remembering self, is very different from the experiencing self. And the brand's role is actually to put a saddle on both the horses. The experiencing self should run alongside the remembering
the chasm, so to speak.
And that is what social media is doing for you. Last year was the first year in which global advertising reached $1 trillion. Of which roughly 650 million was Google, Amazon, Meta and TikTok put together. The difference between mistakes or disasters or failures and successes, small, mediocre or grand, is only a dance of probability. And if you understand that actually probability of outcomes being favorable depends on the number of chances that you take. A brand manager or marketing manager's tenure is one in which we kept growth higher than GDP rate of growth. We increased profitability, we had good cash flows, and no scandal happened.
I wish, life was so seamless and people were so kind of immediate and spontaneous about things, isn't it?
Yes, I agree. If I want to buy a water as a category, then I will go to the store and look for a thing. But I say no. So I go a certain behavior. I go to the store and I search for the brand where my heart is, that I'm carrying pre-notion. Yeah. Sometimes the bottle looks, sometimes the colors look, sometimes the shape look. Everything that water bottle has it, that define my trust toward that. But they didn't try to sell the product. They tried to sell the emotion and love. My company's success, I felt, the core, there's a two kind of decision we can take. One is emotional, one can rational. I believe the entire company run on emotional calls. We never took a rational call. What does that mean? We felt we have to do this, we will do it. On my grave, I have to write. I was happy because I was never happy.
No human being should ever have to do that, ever. Should have ever had to do that. It was clearing up shit.
Having the storytelling as part of the, as you mentioned, DNA is table stakes.
You are in the media and entertainment industry. Your job is to engage and entertain people for the time and money that you have asked from them. See, we are natural born storytellers. If we are able to wrap our head around situation, community, technology of the times, हमको स्टोरी बतानी है. Caveman, उन्होंने जो drawing किया है, वो स्टोरी है. AI is just another workflow. Now, there is a perception that it's easy, and that perception has been sold by the AI tech companies who have created the AI tools because they want you to buy credits and use it. It is not easy. It is very difficult. All of us, none of us were quote unquote educators.
Storytelling will matter whichever era you're in. It mattered 500 years ago. It will matter 500 years from now. How you tell the stories, what mechanism, technology you use to tell the stories, that will change.
So before we decode the state of the strategy that you have and that you use across so many different brands that you worked on, let me decode the state of the Deepali Nayak's heart, okay?
Every single CEO, 36 of them, they were on time. Barring one of them, they came for the prep session. All of them were hardworking. That whole value of hard work, which I feel that, the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha may not think much of it in any way.
They will roll their eyes.
They will roll their eyes at it. was actually the hallmark of success. I don't think we have the capability of completely decoding the human brain.
So yellow makes people happy. I think McDonald's has yellow in it. A lot of brands have yellow. There's a reason. Your employees will love the brand Suresh created. I want to work with Suresh. Why? Money is okay, but I feel valued. I feel that my work is acknowledged. I feel I'm making a difference to the world. Golden Temple, Japan. So I had a very spiritual year. 2019, I lived off one suitcase. That's it. That was my only belonging. I would stay with my mom on her small sofa exactly like this. Just wanted very basic living. Of course, I had a room, but I wanted to spend time with my mother. She's getting old. Roger Federer says that if you stay at the same spot as the world number one, somebody's going to take you. You've got to reinvent yourself. Practice more. So, whatever it is, and like Virat Kohli. You name one person. Ronaldo at 40. Look at him at 40. 960 goals. Like Milan Soman. Look at Milan Soman.
Let's take pure creativity. Let's forget advertising and marketing. Let's take pure maths.
Yeah.
Einstein would be sky gazing and saying, "Aisa hua to kaisa?" And then they ask questions. They are pure imaginations. That comes totally from the heart and the mind. If a young person was to buy a phone, they will not buy a phone just because the ad says so, or just because iPhone is a great,
Or a celebrity is selling it.
or a celebrity say. They will buy it because they will see peer review. They will see the technical aspects. They will see the specific needs they have.
Convincing a client who's got a 150 crore budget, or getting the attention of a 21-year-old who's on doom scroll mode, what is more challenging?
I would rather work with a 21-year-old because I am not working with a fixed set of idea, fears, or an ego. It's lesser there.
Professional, but more also as an Indian, you feel that, why not, right? The Johnny, the Taiwans of the world, the Israels of the world can do, global brands, and what stops us from doing it? I wouldn't say good old days or bad, I don't want to stand judgment, we don't want to stand judgment. But what do you see the change and the metamorphosis over a period of 25 years?
I think the smartest marketers do know that ultimately the differentiation comes from a combination of functional attributes as well as emotional attributes and aspirational attributes. Typically what happens, Suresh, is when you lay out a new brand strategy, you're also discussing the consequences of that strategy.
Multiple number of engineers that beck and call, those are no longer advantages anymore, right?
Every ad, every sales pitch in a particular industry looks like every other.
I love the smell of the pipe tobacco.
You're a by design passive smoker.
Yeah, by design. I suppose it's a Gen Z term, which is main character energy, right? So, they talk about having main character energy, and I genuinely believe that it's better to be a main character in your own story rather than an extra in somebody else's. So,
Or a sidekick.
yeah, there's a young person watching this. That would be my advice, be the main character in your story. An ad called Dove Evolution in the early 2000s, where it starts with a woman who sits down at a makeup table, and then, the makeup and hair person are working, and it's speeded up. Once the hair and makeup is done, you see the photoshopping that is happening, and then finally she appears on the hoarding. And, it says that no wonder perceptions of beauty are so distorted.
The usage growth was exponential at that point in time. People were discovering this whole new world, right? So, and the kind of use cases that could happen within that world. In a very strange way, by the way, we're in the same cycle again. I'm privileged to be able to get the front row seat again with AI now. It's a whole lot of curiosity. Though slow connections then, much faster now, both the connections as well as the output.
Yeah.
There are some differences from that perspective. Internet natives there now, AI natives. The whole architecture of attention, the way we know it, changed. For a long time, in the early days, marketers used to think about it as another channel and another headache to worry about. But I think over the years, we've now realized that it's a fundamental alteration of the way our attention is kind of structured. And that required a rethink and a reprocessing in the way we approach those conversations with the consumers.
As we all know, every deck these days begin with Joseph Campbell.
Yeah.
Right? And I just wanted to get your thoughts on it because you spend so much of time within that space. Do you think storytelling has actually become more of a buzzword than what it ought to be, ideally speaking, a belief system?
See, it's an art.
Correct. Storytelling is an art, yeah.
Telling is an art. Correct. And conceiving a story is also an art. I've been in advertising for 48 years now. This is my 49th year.
Wow.
Correct. It's quite a time.
5 decades almost.
Yeah, I rely on age-old storytelling. I still rely on the stories which my grandparents used to tell me, and then the stories which inspired me when I was young. Storytelling is nothing but telling beautiful lies.
Launching Perk at that time,
Cadbury's Perk.
Cadbury's Perk. My idea was, as the art director on that film, is that I'll show a crumpled wrapper. Can you imagine a new brand launch?
That's a brilliant, I remember that crumpled wrapper, yeah.
So I'll show a crumpled wrapper. Now that crumpled wrapper had given me an idea for a print campaign. That suppose there are various situations. So man on the moon, army marching in bloody, those in muddy terrain, and there's a crumpled wrapper lying there at the right hand corner. And so there's no logo, nothing, just a crumpled Perk wrapper. So you could partly read Perk, right? And that was the ad. Crumpled wrapper at different places. So Ho Chi Minh, the Vietnam, those Angkor Wat, yeah, and there these monks are running into that morning sunrise, and there's a crumpled wrapper there. And then Piyush and we did the Hunger Strike, that film that we did, uska print version. Right?
Today, the way we are engaged, especially if you look at a lokmatsakhi.com platform, I mean, we have got some of the most unread stories being decoded, where we run a program called Super Sakhi, which is about stories of women exceptionally well in their life in terms of their contributing back to the society but were never spoken of. So we cover them. There are women who run these small businesses. So we kind of reach out to them. We give them a platform to come and talk to us. Health, Suresh, I wanted to share this with you. One day my editor, she came to me and she said, "Sir, you don't understand. There is such a big health issue among women in Maharashtra, and they are just not able to come out and share their concerns and their problems." I said, "Don't worry, just go ahead and let's create a platform where women can come and openly share their problems."